Prince William pulls out of a memorial service due to a personal matter, while King Charles is moved to tears over well wishes. Plus, Prince William is reportedly jealous over Prince Harry's Invictus Games, as a new report suggests Harry is bored with his California life. Plus, Robert Hardman reveals if Harry could return to the royal fold.
He could have been such a great asset to the monarchy and to the Commonwealth, which is what they set out to do.
We've got that plus so much more in today's Royally Us. Hey everyone, I'm Christina and that's Christine, and welcome to a big week of royal news, some unexpected royal news to kind of kick this week off. We'll talk about Prince William in just a second, but yeah, some definitely surprising.
We kind of thought that it was going to be maybe a quiet year, no coronations, no jubilees to look forward to, but clearly that is not the case. We have so much royal news too.
Definitely. Well, before we do, let's check in to see what you guys had to say about last week's show. Lauren says in the interview, Harry said out of his own mouth that his family is in California and they are his priority, not the royal family. That is true. So many, we're going to be speculating on this forever, it seems like, about what's going to happen with them. Justin says Harry sure did let it be known his stance with his family. He has his own, pretty much sums it up. They added that it was cold. But that his family is his priority right now. That was his choice. His choice was to leave the royal family.
Yeah, and in fairness, the Prince and Princess of Wales have placed a lot of priority on their own children, albeit in a very different way. So, lots of people have to make that tough decision between raising their children and, larger projects, larger life commitments.
Definitely. And then another user said, we love Paula M, always witty and provides great insight, talking about our guest last week. So glad you guys enjoyed our conversation with her. All right, well, let's get into the news of the week. And before we get into Prince William, we have to say that Thomas Kingston has passed away at the age of 45. Buckingham Palace announced in a statement on behalf of Lady Gabrielle Kingston, Martin and Jill Kingston, Joanna Connolly, and Emma Murray, the palace shared, "It is with the deepest sorrow that we announce the death of Thomas Kingston, our beloved husband, son, and brother. Tom was an exceptional man who lit up the lives of all who knew him. His death has come as a great shock to the whole family, and we ask you to respect our privacy as we mourn his passing." Now, Kingston was found in Gloucestershire on Sunday evening, and emergency services were called to the scene where he was pronounced dead. An inquest will be held, but there are no suspicious circumstances. It is also understood that Prince William's absence from King Constantine's memorial service was unconnected to the news. This is what Town and Country is reporting. But the Prince and Princess Michael were in attendance at the service. So according to Buckingham Palace, the King and the Queen have been informed of Thomas's death and joined Prince and Princess Michael of Kent and all those who knew him in grieving a much-loved member of the family. In particular, their Majesties send their most heartfelt thoughts and prayers to Gabriella and all the Kingston family. At this point, the details of the funeral haven't been shared, but he is the son-in-law of Prince Michael of Kent and Princess Michael of Kent, having married Lady Gabriella in a royal wedding in Windsor in 2019. He is survived by his wife, his parents, and his sisters. He was also the ex-boyfriend of Pippa Middleton, so he does have a long connection with the royal family, and our hearts and thoughts and prayers go out to the royal family as they mourn this really shocking loss. All right, now moving on over to the news of Prince William. Kensington Palace said Prince William has pulled out of attending a memorial service for his godfather, the late King Constantine of Greece, because of a personal matter. The palace declined to elaborate, but did say that his wife, the Princess of Wales, who is recovering from abdominal surgery, continues to do well. It said that William called the Greek royal family, which is attending the memorial service in St. George's Chapel in Windsor, to let him know that he wasn't able to attend. Constantine II of Greece died in January of last year at the age of 82. As we know, King Charles, who is being treated for an undisclosed form of cancer, also will not attend the service for his cousin. The monarch has canceled all public engagements while he receives treatment.
William and Kate are really guarded with their privacy. They reveal as much as they want to, but they like to keep things close to their chest, especially family matters, personal matters. They really like to sort of keep quiet on these things. But this was a time with the king being ill, with Kate in, recovery from her surgery. This was the time for William to maybe give a little bit more information to the people. This was really a time, and to be open. And in the past, William and Kate have said when Kate couldn't attend an award ceremony. They said it was because of the children were ill. We know the king and queen have been very open, saying that they have a virus and can't attend events. So there was an opportunity here to be a bit more open and honest, because now all we're doing is speculating, especially, right now in this really chaotic time for the royal family.
It would be, I feel like a lot of people now are like, okay, where's Kate? Maybe just give us a photo. Like, granted, it's none of our business how she recovers and things like that, but so many people want to know if she is okay. I mean, we're taking their word for it, being like, okay, she's doing well. But I think a lot of people maybe want to see her, want those explanations, being like, okay, maybe kid has a stomach bug. We get it. He's taking on a lot of the parental responsibilities right now. But I do agree. I think we need a little bit more context about what's going on.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. All right. Well, it seems like King Charles is doing well and looking on the bright side as he made his way through piles of get well soon cards and messages and new photos. Photos from Buckingham Palace show Charles looking through a pile of handmade cards while in the Belgian suites of his 18th century room. The messages placed inside the iconic large red briefcase for official business wished the monarch a speedy recovery following his cancer diagnosis. One of the cards addressed directly to King Charles shows a drawing of a dog who appears to have just visited the vet, along with the message, "At least you don't have to wear a cone." I think that probably got a nice little chuckle from him. On Wednesday, February 21st, during his first public outing since he was diagnosed, Charles stated that he has been moved by the outpouring of support he has received from the public, telling the Prime Minister, "I've had so many wonderful messages and cards. It's reduced me to tears most of the time." Prime Minister told the King that it was wonderful to see him looking so well, which Charles replied, "It's all done with mirrors." So it's good to see him out and about. And I'm sure that outpouring of support really means a lot to him.
Yeah, I think it really has been amazing. It must be so overwhelming. And King Charles has said that he knows how valuable these words of encouragement are to him, but also to other families going through the same diagnosis, the same treatment, where those cards and those kind messages really make a huge difference. And he's really used, I think, his platform and his experience to raise awareness for what other people are going through, and sort of saying that these cards have made me so happy. So if sort of saying, in a way, if you know someone else going through this, then a card or a kind gesture really makes all the difference.
Really does. It does.
Yeah, the cards were the dog card was so funny. There was also really beautiful hand-drawn, crayon pictures from children. And the palace said that he's receiving a few of these every single day in his red box. So they're sort of they must be sticking in the best and the funniest ones. And I'm sure it does go a long way to cheer him up.
It really does. Nothing better than a handmade card, I have to say. It really is. It's so true. Well, before, everything that happened this week, Prince William presented the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire, the MBE medals, to Amelia Clark and her mother, Jennifer Clark, at Windsor Castle. The mother-daughter duo was awarded the prize for the aid they provide to people with brain injuries via their organization, Same You, which helps brain injury survivors get better mental health treatment. Now, in the clip, Jennifer shared that it was such an honor, while Amelia gushed about getting recognized for a cause near and dear to their hearts. They started the Same You in 2019, and this was because Amelia revealed that she was inspired to start the organization after she survived 2 brain hemorrhages while working on Game of Thrones. So seeing Prince William, seeing Queen Daenerys together, kind of a mind-blowing moment, but such a great cause. And it's great that she is getting recognized along with her mother for such a wonderful organization.
Absolutely. I think Amelia Clark is really using her platform, her large fan base, paired with Prince William's incredible royal platform to promote this organization, promote the work that they're doing, because not every MBE recipient gets this great video on social media. I think they really saw it as an opportunity to utilize a bit of star power to promote this, promote the work and promote the organization. And it's a really fun video to watch, but it also drives home how important these MBEs are and how much they mean to the recipients, not just famous actresses like Amelia Clark, but just to anybody who's receiving that recognition.
Definitely. All right. Well, Sarah Ferguson is feeling positive amid her second battle with cancer. The Duchess of York revealed last month that she had been diagnosed with a malignant melanoma after having several moles removed for analysis. She hopes to inspire others to be diligent with their health checkups and to detect the deadly disease. She wrote on Instagram, "I'm determined to do whatever I can to help raise awareness by sharing my experience. I was diagnosed diagnosed with breast cancer in 2023 and melanoma, an aggressive form of skin cancer, this year. And had it not been for the diligence and care of my physicians, my situation could have been so much worse. After it was discovered that Sarah was suffering from breast cancer in June 2023 following a routine mammogram, she successfully underwent a single mastectomy and had reconstructive surgery. She said that as she battles cancer for a second time, her goal is to motivate others to make sure they do not delay screenings. It is so wonderful that she is using her platform to not only share her experience, but encourage others to, do their due diligence, get the screenings, because, going in sometime for a routine screening can save your life.
Absolutely. I think that Sarah Ferguson is doing a really good job of sort of driving that point home. No one is, immune. It can happen to any of us, but, pushing that message of being diligent and getting those things checked. I think alongside the king and his message, his prostate screening, followed by his cancer diagnosis, again, just driving home that idea that no one is immune. It can happen to any of us, but being diligent about your health and staying on top of those things is what really makes all the difference.
Definitely. All right. Well, let's spill the royalty. And this is by far my favorite story of the week. King Charles is changing up his personnel, after Lieutenant Colonel Johnny Thompson, playfully dubbed the Hot Equerry, went viral last year. He has been a part of the royal family's team for years, and he will no longer be part of the King's public security team. This is according to the Telegraph. So the senior aide, who gained fame for his good looks at Charles's coronation, remains senior equerry to the King and the Queen, in a more executive and less public-facing role. The outlet further claimed that Thompson is understood not to have enjoyed the public attention he received after attending several high-profile events with the King. We were first really introduced to him in 2018 when he escorted the late Queen Elizabeth during a battalion review at Balmoral Castle. And ever since then, a lot of people have been waiting for him to make these public appearances because he looked good. So I guess he didn't really like the public attention.
He's known as Major Johnny on social media. Absolute thirst trap. It's very, no matter what he did, it just looked so great. Unfortunately, the uniform that he wears does involve a kilt, and that just made him even more attractive. It was getting slightly distracting. I'm sorry, ladies, he is apparently married. That's the important information. But yes, I do think that he probably didn't appreciate that. He's very serious. He takes his role very seriously. Didn't appreciate constantly being sort of these thirst trap, humorous tweets and posts on Instagram where we're all just drooling over him. So he probably wanted a more behind the scenes role where he can be taken seriously.
Well, it shows that he really is dedicated to the job, though, and is not kind of, because some people might relish in this attention, and he's like, absolutely not. I'm taking a step back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, his actual role is really important to him, not his sort of new internet fame. But I think that this is probably the right choice. It was getting a bit funny and distracting, although people were really enjoying it, taking a really keen interest in some of King Charles's events that maybe wouldn't have gotten as much interest otherwise. But I'm sure this is the right move for Major Johnny and for the King and his team.
All right, moving right along to Meghan Markle. Another funny story this week. Her Suits co-star Rick Hoffman went viral for making a face at her 2018 wedding to Prince Harry. And he says there's a simple reason why. He said during a recent interview on Barstool Sports' Chicks in the Office podcast, if you type in my name in on Google, you see me making that awful face. And then as time goes on, I'm starting to smell something really terrible and foul. He went on to note that he is very sensitive to smell, so he covered his nose with his hand, hoping that would stem the unpleasant odor. So this is just another funny story that happened this week. And, I guess this isn't the first time that this has come about, that there's kind of a smell in the church.
Yeah, so, if you Windsor Castle, St. George's Chapel, it just sort of has a musty old church smell that you see in a lot of churches. We know that Meghan, when doing the wedding plans, wanted to mask it with candles and she was told no. But at the same time, we know that Kate scented her royal wedding with Jo Malone candles. There's so many news stories about the way that these royal churches smell. You wouldn't believe it. Who knew it would be such a newsworthy thing? But just kind of a funny story that a memorable moment from Meghan and Harry's royal wedding, because those photos of that actor are pretty funny.
Definitely. And then wrapping up our royalty segment, author Tom Quinn spoke out saying that Prince Harry seems a bit bored with his life in California. This comes as sources told Us Weekly that Meghan is going to be a little bit more open on her podcast and kind of talking about like her life situations and things like that. It's interesting coming off of his interview with Good Morning America, because I don't know if he's essentially that bored. And then there was also this report that Prince William was a bit jealous of the success of Harry's Invictus Games. So I don't know. I mean, the Invictus Games are wildly popular.
Yeah, I think that we're seeing a little bit of everything here where Prince Harry, the Invictus Games were so important to him, but his work with charities and military organizations was so fulfilling for him. He's not getting that so much now. And I think he used to do so much work and it was so important and so well respected that Prince William was sort of surprised that Invictus Games and his other projects got so much attention, so much government involvement from countries around the world. And so I think it was Robert Jobson said that William was jealous of how powerful this organization was. Now that Prince Harry has stepped back from royal life, lost a lot of his military affiliations, no longer royal patron of all his patronages, he still has the Invictus Games, but I don't think he's getting as much fulfillment out of the work that he's doing. I also think that, as we said about the podcast, Meghan has sort of said, okay, people are only interested in listening to stories that are about me, which is true. That's really what makes the headline. So she knows that that's what's going to push her projects forward. At the same time, Harry is used to sort of the work being the headline and, being fulfilled by that work, working with those charities and organizations. So I can see a lot of not really a power struggle, but just a priority struggle going on between Harry and his new life and his wife.
So let's break down the royal rules, because we recently spoke with author Robert Hardman, who had the wildly successful book, The Making of a King, about whether or not, I feel like we ask each other this question every single week, if Harry would ever return to the royal fold, given if he's bored in California, if there's these jealousy issues, what's going to happen with Meghan's podcast. So here's what he had to say.
Do you think they would ever return to royal life? I mean, especially now as we're seeing how, what a massive hit it is without the Princess of Wales, with the King sort of, seeking medical treatment. Is there space for Harry and Meghan to return?
I can't see them returning to sort of regular royal duties. And it would have to be coming back to full-time regular royal duties. I mean, what's been well established during the whole kind of saga of what we now call Megxit, but I mean, is their retreat from royal life, their decision to go and live in the US. What has driven that is the fact you can't be half in or half out. You've got to be royal or not royal, and I can't see them coming back to a sort of full-time royal existence, because clearly they hated it. They're not going to want to do that. But I think what the events of the recent days have shown is, what a pity. I mean, the thing that I think I and so many other people have just felt about the whole issue of Megxit is just one of deep sadness, of lost opportunity, wasted potential. I mean, those two could have been such a great asset to the monarchy and to the Commonwealth, which is what they set out to do. And it is a reminder that, that they are a loss. But like I said, I don't think somehow getting them back in as sort of caretaker royals to fill a few gaps, I don't think that's an option.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with him. Definitely a wasted moment. What could have been if Harry and Meghan definitely stayed around. Absolutely. All right, well, that is it for this week's episode of Royally Asked. Christine, thank you so much as always.
It was a fun week. Maybe next week could be a quiet week.
Fingers crossed. All right, keep commenting, keep subscribing, and we'll see you next week. Bye. For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.